Well, probably all of us have heard of someone getting asphyxiated or entrapped in grain bins, and we just read it and not carry on. But we had a case here on March the 4th, 2015. A good friend of ours passed away in a soybean bin, and our EMS and our first responders were there to help, but did not have an idea how to go about it, nor did they have the equipment to do it with. Well, this is our first on-the-spot training here with Oklahoma State University and Texas Extension Office to get some on-hands training, and we're going to video it and have it for future references.
Our research at Oklahoma State University involves determining forces within grain bins and developing new methods and different protocols for firemen to get people out of engulfed situations in grain bins. The fire departments in this area come together and they want training on how to use this new equipment. So if they ever have this accident happen again, they'll know how to rescue people from this environment. We've got GoPro. Oh, there he goes. Good. This gentleman is already up past his waist. That took less than, I'd say, 2 seconds. Tell us if you can get yourself out. Nope. All right, he's wiggling. There is absolutely no way he can get himself out. So we've got our rescuers standing on their coat crates, so their force is distributed across the grain. Again, I would suggest that we check to make sure he doesn't have a leg sticking out any place. In the real world, he probably wouldn't go straight down. So I would suggest that a fire department would have a small PVC pipe or something just to probe around that victim. Most of the time they're going to go down at an angle. It'd be nice if they went straight down like this gentleman did for us, but I've noticed when I've been buried, I usually end up with my legs coming up forward. It's just the way the grain flows. So are you straight down the grain? Okay, we're not going to cut off any legs if we put this around you then. They're putting the panels around this individual now, and not all of the panels will generally work. Will go down in the same distance in the depth. That's okay, as long as they can get at least a foot or so where they can start anchoring their victim and using their auger to move the grain away from him. If you don't have one of the fancy augers, which is really nice, it moves the grain so fast and so quickly that really helps out. Even taking a hard hat off and dipping the grain, if that's what you have to do. You got to move that grain away from our victim.
You light on top. Bottom. Got the bottom good. Bottom.
Okay, they're stepping on the steps to move this whole cofferdam around this victim. Of course, this victim is alive and talking to us and coherent, and he's even helping a little bit. That's not always the case. How you doing in there, victim? Yeah. All right. One fireman always needs to be talking to the victim and reassuring them that life is good and we're going to get him out and he's going to go home and tomorrow will be another day. This auger that they put in is run off a cordless drill.
Ready? Yep.
And it's just going to start moving the grain out. You'll see in the spout. They've almost got the grain out from around this victim. He's moving, he's trying to get himself out. These augers are a new product, just came out in the last few years, and you're one of the few fire departments in the country that has one of these. This is really top-end equipment. How we doing, victim?
You good?
Can you get yourself out? Nope, can't get himself out yet. One thing about cordless drills, it's good to have an extra battery with you. This auger is not that's something you wouldn't turn by hand. It takes a lot of force and a lot of battery.
While you do that, we'll try to go down further.
They've got quite a bit of the grain out. Now they're going to reposition the cofferdam so they can move it farther down around this victim. He's buried so deep that we still aren't down far enough with the grain.
But you got your tops undone? You got your tops undone? That one.
The bottom ones are still together. That's good.
Just stop over them.
This cofferdam has steps on the outside of it, and that helps your firemen to place their feet on it, put some weight on it. This cofferdam, as I told the last group inside, takes between 700 and 800 pounds to move it down more than 2 to 3 feet in the grain.
Yeah, stop. Right there. All right, we're good.
Now they're going to go farther down with the grain auger. As I was saying before, this grain auger is a new product, and there's not very many fire departments in the country that have one of these. This corn is good, clean corn, so it's pretty fluffy, flowing really easy. That's great to train with. Probably not going to be the real world if he were entrapped in a bin in the real world. But to train with, it's perfect. Not a lot of dust. I think we're close to having this individual out. This cofferdam is made so that it has pinholes on the inside. So the victim, as soon as he can, he will help himself out. Yay, victim. Good job, Marvin. We have the best of scenarios up here, and I don't know how long it's actually taken us, but I guess it's a good 30 minutes. And we had all the equipment here and ready and prepared to come up the ladder with it, and a willing victim, and it just takes some time. But having the equipment ready and knowing what to do with it sure saves a lot of time. That time's precious when you're that victim that's trapped.
Put the toes together.
Make that right in the middle. Hold that up.
They're doing the final lacing on this packaged victim. Make sure he's good and secure. They have 3 sections of the cofferdam laid down. The victim's in the middle, and there's firemen working on each side of him. So it helps their effort, their energy level, to have something to lean on and not have to fight the corn in the process of packaging this victim. I'm standing on one of the crates myself, and I'm still buried a foot or so in this corn. And it's secured there at the bottom. It's nice to work with a fire department that can tie knots. We all want to think they all can, but that's not the case. They've got him tied, and both ends are secure now. Getting their carry strap at the top. Victim, how you doing? Good. He's taking a nap. Not bad. Not bad in there.
Unless y'all need them down there.
Now try to picture this in the real world. We wouldn't have light in here. Most grain bins are pretty dark. We might not even have any headspace over as much to work. Going to be either really hot or really cold in that bin. One thing that you always want to think about in the winter is that victim, does he have hypothermia?
You got a rope for the bump. Rope for the bump.
It may be important that the EMT start some IVs that would warm him up before you would even take him out.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Hold on.
Keep the hole open. Put that on your belt or something.
All right. I'm on main.
Huh?
I'm on main.
Oh, man. All right.
Might need somebody. I'll see if you can get there. I think you and I can get there.
They're getting ready to pick this individual up and take him down the ladder. They've talked about who's got what responsibilities, communicating with each other really well.
All right, ready. Elbows in.
Doing okay, victim?
You ready, Chad? Yeah, ready. All right, start rolling. Take baby step.
We'll just tent it up and I'm going to start easy.
They have a main line over to my left side of the bin, and that's how they're going to keep him from sliding down the ladder quickly.
Let's tighten it up a little bit. All right. All right, that's a good place.
Watch that hard.
Yeah.